Welcome to Untamed Blossoms, the podcast where we celebrate the untamed journey of womanhood. Here, we tell the stories of incredible women who have embraced their authenticity, inspiring others to do the same.
From entrepreneurs to artists, activists to adventurers, we share triumphs, challenges, and the beauty of self-discovery. These are the stories of women blazing their own trails, breaking free, and blooming unapologetically.
Join us to connect, be inspired, and celebrate the power of women's stories. Together, let's rewrite the rules and embrace our wildness.
Welcome to Untamed Blossoms. I'm your host, Amanda Riley.
Cristi, welcome to the show.
Well, I'm feeling congested.
Well, listen, your allergies are such that you live with cats that you're allergic to, and we are in pollen season, so yeah, you probably are congested.
I'm allergic to everything outside.
Except, today is day one of your new diet restrictions.
Yeah.
Not because she's dieting, y'all, but because she's got medically has to stop.
Because my body is destroying my every joy.
Not every joy. We lifted really hard today, and you crushed it.
That's good. I
So,
did like that.
Let's thank her for that.
For that specifically, but that's about it right now. But no gluten, fine. It's annoying, but whatever. No dairy.
This is gonna be a hard one for you.
Sometimes I just go to the refrigerator and I grab shredded cheese and I sprinkle it in my mouth like a treat.
I eat cheese a lot too, like
Cottage cheese.
Protein girls. I had that for breakfast. I know.
On my first day?
I shouldn't have told you that, but I did. It is a routine breakfast of mine.
Yeah, same, Cristi.
With pineapple. You can't.
I can't pineapple either. Whatever. Anyway, everything's cool.
But
I had a delicious rice cake just moments ago. It was so filling and delightful.
Crushing it. You're crushing your goals. Just look towards your future healthy self, and your GI tract is much happier, and things are lovely, and you don't feel like you're having a heart attack.
Fine.
It's gonna be great.
Fine. Taking a hard right here. I don't know if this will air before then. I think it might be the week before, but we're thinking about having a solstice party in June versus our full moon party.
Yes.
So it will either have had just happened or will be happening the following week after this airs. But I'm so excited for that.
I know. We'll start advertising it here soon.
Yeah.
As we're recording it, it's in April, so we'll start recording. We'll start getting all the plans together. But a big blowout. Let's have a summer solstice blowout.
Love it. Here for it. Maybe we'll get some fireworks. Sparklers?
Yeah, and fire.
Yeah.
And be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dancing.
So much dancing.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I love it.
I'm so excited.
I love it.
It's time for a new dance party anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, in June will be like, it will be warm.
Yeah. And our moon circles, although they're amazing, do get pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to have a fun event.
Yeah. June. And you know what? I'm like, okay, even if it rains, we could open the garage door.
Yeah.
And just really have a beautiful time.
I'll rehang the disco ball. The fallen disco ball.
She's been missing.
The sun teenager hung on and tore down at a party.
I don't hang around any children.
I wasn't angry. It's fine. I was really angry, actually.
Oh, wow.
But we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think mermaids are real?
I would love to believe so.
What about sirens? Are they the same thing? Are they different? What creatures could be in the ocean? That's my question to you. That could be mistaken for a mermaid.
I think there definitely could be some that is mistaken for a mermaid.
Yeah.
We could talk about Atlantis and Atlantean times and all those things as well. I would like to believe that there's a lot of things under the water that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen or explored, or so all those things are possible. A siren and a mermaid being the same? Maybe. The books have made sirens to be such a negative connotation that, they're they get. They can, like they're bad entities.
Yeah,
that
they're
able
luring semen to their death.
to their death. Yeah.
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 Why are you out on their waters? So.
They're usually in questionable places that you probably shouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, and that really takes us to the whole Bermuda Triangle situation.
Right.
You know that they can't figure out how eels are born. They're just seemingly spawned from the Bermuda Triangle.
Huh?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. I am going to fact check myself after this, and I will delete this part if I was wrong, but I'm like 100% positive. Yeah.
The Bermuda Triangle is a mystery, and I'm like, with all of our technological advances, we can't seem to figure out where all of these things go in this triangle, the ships and the planes and all the things that disappear in this area.
I'm just telling you this.
Do we think it's a portal to another time?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I think there's a lot of portals in the ocean. I think I sent you something about there's basically crop circles in the bottom of our oceans.
Yes.
Why?
Right.
For what? And you're telling me that we've been out here up in space, honey. Well, we can't go to the ocean. We don't know what the Bermuda Triangle is doing.
Right. I agree.
So, I know it was seemingly unrelated, but it's been on my mind a lot.
It's not. It is going to be more of we're going to start leaning into some weird things, y'all. We're going to have some guests on to talk about some oddities in our world that we are fascinated with.
Yeah.
So, but
I think there's a lot that's unknown.
A lot of unknowns out there that we would love to explore with people.
And I think people are like, how can you be everything? How can you like science? How can you like this stuff? How can you like that stuff? Well, everything before it was explained by science was a mystery. And also, science is also crazy, mystic, and beautiful. Like, just because we figured it out doesn't mean it's still not incredible that it exists.
Yeah.
So
I think pieces and parts of all of it are true. And they're true as we know it. And then we evolve to figure out it's differently true later.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's always evolving. And I think that's what's so cool about it, is that there's some truth in all of it.
I just think there's lots of things that we try to give explanations for.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to have some of these conversations. I think it's going to be super fun.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So anyway, Girl Boss.
Our guest today, Isana, is coming, Girl Boss, cbus Girl Boss. And so she has a platform on social media that highlights women entrepreneurs here in Columbus, Ohio. And I just happened to stumble across her account on Instagram and ask her to come and tell her story. So we haven't talked much other than that. So I can't wait to hear how she got started and what she has to say.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hello, Isana. Welcome to the pod. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for trying to find you. I was very confused when I found you on social media the first time. Is that I didn't realize that the person that you were showcasing on your platform was not you.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hi, Chloe," and you're like, "This isn't Chloe." And I was like, "Oh," and because I'm like, "This is a cool platform." She's, and for some reason I thought the person that you were showcasing was running the platform.
Oh,
and so when you said that, I was like, "Oh, great. Well, we would love to have you on."
Yeah.
That was whoever's running this is who I'd love to have on. So.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, we highlight like a bunch of like women in power, women in business, women of greatness, just a lot of boss women doing like amazing things and like their initiative. So yeah, like I don't really put my face on there because it's really not really about me. It's about like others, and yeah. So
how did you get started with all of this?
So I started this back in 2023, like the August of 2023, and I started it just because I wanted to meet other like-minded women who were in business. So we started as like a Halo group. So I did like little meetups and events on there, and I met like amazing women. I remember like the first little coffee meetup I met with like 3 women, and then the next it was like 10, 20, you know what I'm saying? So, but, so that's how we started off. And then like, I got asked, like a med spa reached out and they were like, "Oh, can you come in and do a video? We'll give you like a promo code to share with with the community or whatever." And then that's how the video content kind of started. So it kind of just turned into, like a content thing where like I'm sharing initiatives, and honestly, like I wouldn't have wanted it either way. Like I said, like you have to start somewhere, and that's where I started. You know, I started with events and slowly just came with a community initiative for like other women. So yeah.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Thanks a lot.
Like, hey, you have this platform. Can you come and shoot a video and basically put it out for your people?
Yeah. So that's how it started. And then I was like, oh my God, I could just do this for other women-owned businesses and share them. And because like I was not a young entrepreneur, and I wish like I had this when I was there, like a place for this. So and I try and be accessible, an accessible resource, because like starting up and nonprofits, like you don't really have much to work with, and there's so many great businesses and women out there like that need to get noticed, you know. So yeah.
And so you mainly run off Instagram, right?
We're mainly on Instagram.
Okay.
Like so if we don't have Instagram, like there's really no us, unfortunately. But hopefully Instagram will stay around and will transfer to somewhere else. But yeah, Instagram is our main like resource for right now. Like I do want to get into TikTok and stuff like that, but the algorithm isn't really as great.
Yeah.
Isn't that great when you're just starting out? So yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And who's all a part of your team? Like, who all helps you run this initiative?
So it's mainly me, but I do bring in like other people. I do work with a lot of like women like in journalism. A lot of like college students, interns, to try to like help them with their portfolio. You know, because my projects are pretty small or like one time, so I just bring in help whenever needed. So it's mainly a one woman show, unless like I'm like a little overwhelmed, then I have to call in other people. But yeah, it is mainly me. I did want to have like a team, but I didn't really start doing like this full time, like really full time, until like this year. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So it's grown enough that it's required you to. So what were you doing before that?
So before it was just like me, and I would like go. I didn't even like when I first started like doing videos, I had an iPhone 14 or I think I had an iPhone 14 or 13, one of those, and I didn't have like any equipment. I would have like a little selfie stick and stuff, and it would just be me, and I would do like little voiceovers, and I would like do like customer point of views of people's businesses. And then like I got like more equipment and stuff like that, like a gimbal and the latest iPhone, you know. And like that's when like the interview quality started getting better. So like before it was just like a little selfie stick in my little iPhone and little $9 mics from Amazon. And how I started the interviews was like I would help like women businesses with their events, because when I stopped doing events, I started helping others with theirs. So like I would gather all women, like female businesses, and then that's how we started doing interviews. So it would literally just be me and like my little starter equipment, and then I became a wedding content creator too. So I was like, now we have to upgrade her. So yeah, it was just me and my little selfie stick, and then now it's like me and a couple other people I rotate into my team whenever I need. So yeah.
And were you doing like a corporate gig too at that same time before you transitioned over, or?
So I was like freelancing. So I would do like I would kind of do like nannying on the side, and I was a teacher as well. I was in special education as a teacher. So I was doing like all of this in one. So,
but knew that you wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like I got into the entrepreneurship world at just 20 years old, and I dropped out of school. I got into entrepreneurship at 20 years old. I had an e-commerce business. And that was when like e-commerce and online business was so good. I started pre-COVID. So then when COVID hit, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I was working security at the same time as well. not yet full time, obviously, with the business because that was hard, and
Right.
I'm 20 years old, you know. So after COVID, I ended up like going like on tour for the business. So I would do like pop up shops and stuff like that, just trying to put myself out there and get connected or whatever. But and I think the business did pretty well, but like I said, retail is pretty hard. Like they don't I don't think people understand how hard retail is, and online and pop up shops and all of that. Like that was pretty challenging for me, and I, like I said, 20 years old at the time. So um I closed that business in 2023 after I sold the products to a local beauty supply store. That was like my big closing of it. Like, oh yeah, we're done. So that's kind of like that gateway. That was how like girlboss.cbus like came about. So yeah, that's the backstory. That was like, oh, okay, I want to meet like-minded women because like I have to still be an entrepreneur somehow. And obviously when I closed the first business, I was obviously sad, you know. I was like, wow, like this was a part of me for a couple years, you know. Like I was putting myself out there. I was working like with like influencers and stuff, trying to get the lash business out there and stuff like that. And I spent a lot of money and wasted so much money. Wasted so much money. So like I was like, oh no, I have to find something else. And I'm happy I started, you know, you gotta start somewhere. So I'm happy I started with girlboss.cbus the way it was, you know, with the little meetups and the events, because it turned into something bigger than I ever imagined, you know. So yeah.
And finding that strong community is like so important when you're a business minded person and you're like, okay, there's so many of us out here doing this. Mm-hmm. Like we can all share resources and ideas, and it's just like, where do you find that? So I think it's a perfect thing that you're doing in a way to gather those people together to really understand like what can we help each other with,
right? So right, and that's the main thing. That's why I did it. You know, I became that resource. I was over here looking for the resource. I became it. Yeah, I became the resource. So yeah, it's fun. Like when you get posted on girlboss.cbus, like even though it's just like a cross collaboration video, we're taking all the main points and we're turning it into like a storytelling video. You know, you get to see like yourself and your business and your brand in a different point of view. So I think that's really important for like your customers, and even if you're just like a state representative, that's really good for your viewers and somebody else to see. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm going to reframe what you said about you wasted a lot of money. No, you paid for an education.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I like to say it is that you were getting educated. It wasn't in school, but you definitely got an education and you had to pay for it. And I'm just like, that's the money that I paid for that education. I came with a lot of knowledge after that.
Absolutely. I agree. And I did end up going back to school.
Oh,
okay. I became a licensed esthetician. Like I said, like my journey with the lash business, it was definitely a learning experience. A couple, like I did the lash business for about almost four years. So from 2020 to 2023. So like almost 4 years. So it was definitely like a learning experience and a year for growth and change. I learned a ton. So
take us back a little bit. Tell us where you were born, raised, siblings, parents. Let's go back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you growing up.
Well, you know, I think it's safe to say like I feel like you shouldn't run a girlboss.cbus business if you weren't born and raised in Columbus. So yeah, I was born and raised in Columbus. I'm the oldest sibling, oldest daughter. I have about 4 younger siblings, all girls. You know, that was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 4 younger siblings. I'm the oldest. My other sister is a psychologist. One works in childcare, and the other one is trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
4 sisters plus you, so 5 total. Your mom had 5 girls.
5 total, and one is my cousin. My mom took custody of her when she was 15, but then she left when she was 18. Yeah, so she's if you want to be technical, she's still old. I said it was about.
So you always knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? So where did that come to play? Were you like super creative? Were you always trying to like come up with new ideas?
Well, my mom was very driven, smart, educated. Nobody in my family was nobody. So my parents were like obviously not. My parents were married. That came with like a different types of struggle. I've seen a lot growing up and experienced a lot, and my mom was a very like strong woman. She had me when she was 16. Wow. So and for her to have a kid that young, she got her like master's degree in finance and stuff, and now she works for like Chase Corporate, and she's a professor at Columbus State Community College. So I think I got my drive and hustle from her, like taking my mom like took all the odds against her and created something amazing. And she has like a master's degree. Not a lot of people have masters.
Right.
So like,
by the way, had 4 biological children and adopted a cousin while she was at it. Just to throw that in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the odds were really against her. I think I got my hustle and drive from her for sure. And my mom raised me in particular like to like she was like, look, if you're not going to go to school, you got to figure it out, and she gave me that space to figure it out. Like my mom was very open-minded. Like we went to and I went to Indianola Informal, so like it's not a very traditional school. Like we call the teachers by our first name, like so like it would be like Miss Michelle, Miss Shannon, Miss Sylvia. So it was very like informal, and it was very diverse too. So that's where like the open-mindedness came from. So like we had black kids, white kids. I mean, majority white kids because we're in Asian and Middle Eastern kids. So like we grew up very like open-minded, and my mom was very open-minded. So like when the entrepreneurship journey came up, she was a little confused, but she stuck beside me, and she was like, oh, "Okay, you're gonna do this," or whatever. So that's kind of how it started. But like I said, like my mom was like, if you're not going to go to school, then you got to figure it out. And it definitely had to get
What are some like major wins that you've had so far, that things that you went into thinking, I don't know if this is going to work out, or like partnerships where you're like, I would love to work with this person, or just things that you thought like, man, this really worked out?
I think when I had reached out to the W nail bar. Well, now they're called Goddess Maintenance.
I saw that it changed recently.
Mm-hmm. I think when I worked with them, that was like my first big like collaboration. I think like when they said like, oh yeah, we would love to do a collaboration video, I think that was my big like, oh okay, we could really do something with girlboss.cbus. That was my first like big like, wow, like I can do this. I think like, but then after that, like obviously I had my ups and downs, a little bit of no's, but I think now since I like took that leap of faith and did it full time, I'm like, oh yeah, nothing's gonna stop this,
I love that.
But that was like my first big like wake up, oh, girlboss.cbus is really like doing something, because the W nail bar has like a bunch of locations in Columbus, and that's like one of the bigger women-owned businesses in Columbus. So I was like, oh yeah, I never thought they were not on my bingo card at all.
Yeah.
So like I never thought like I would be working with like bigger businesses in Columbus. So that was like my like, wow, like this kind of.
And really, your business is geared towards a marketing opportunity.
Yeah,
we'll come in and we shoot video and present it as if something, And then we put it on our platform, you put it on your platform, and they come away with a package. And so they're purchasing a package.
I wouldn't call girlboss.cbus a marketing agency though.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I would say it's much like more. It's a community initiative, you know. Because we're helping you and we're sharing you, we're supporting you. Right. And then once we post a video, like a bunch of other people are also supporting you, you know. It's like a big collaboration thing, you know. But yeah, for sure, like I think like we do a form of marketing, but as a whole, like it's much more. You know, so how
have you grown your platform? Like how have you, not just your clientele, but like your followers? If you had to give somebody advice about trying to grow a platform, what advice have you found that's working for people who are like, I'm stuck at 40 followers?
The number one, I always tell like people, even if I'm like also a board member for like Black Women in Business, and I am the director of marketing, and I always just stress and emphasize we have to cross collaborate, we have to cross collab and do cross collaboration. That is the number one way of growth nowadays. So like you have to cross collaborate, like you have to share, like you have to tap into their following and stuff like that, and you have to follow people back. You guys don't and you know, like and share, like you have to create a sense of community, you know. I think that's the number one way to grow is like collab, like. And another thing that I say for girls to us is collaboration over competition. Please, you would not believe like some of the messages I've got. Oh, they would like compare me to other businesses. They would say like, "Oh yeah, like are you a part of this?" I don't really want to say that. Right. Like associated with this business. I'm like, no, we have nothing to do with that business. Like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I'm not sure if I could work with you because I'm already affiliated with this business, and I'm just like, oh no, we don't really do that. Like, we're much more like we're really just trying to spread awareness for you. You know, like it really doesn't even. It's not even about us. It's really just about you. You know, so yeah, I think the number one way to grow is like collaboration.
I think that's so strange, right? I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, you have a pool of people and you have a pool of people, and I'm standing over here and I want to swim, and I've been swimming in this pool, but that means I can't swim in this pool. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I can just get out and swim in that, and I can swim in both pools.
Exactly.
And we can all get along.
Exactly. Collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
And you just have to collaborate or you're not going to grow. Like, think about it. Like, if you guys had this podcast and you didn't have anybody on it.
Right.
Like, you can only go so far with just yourself.
Right. Totally. Right. It would be like if someone asked us to be on a podcast, we're like, sorry, we already have a podcast. I was like, well, the whole point, we would love to be on your podcast. Maybe you could be on our podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Totally.
It's like you have to foster community. That's how you're gonna grow. You know, foster community. Like give people like have something different that you don't normally see. Like what makes you stand out. You know, over other people. You know what I'm saying? So like totally collaboration is like number one. That's how you're gonna grow.
Right.
You know,
like, we reached out and had a podcast guest on that was in Colorado, and suddenly we have a following in Colorado, but we can't figure out where the one in Australia came from. One person who's listening in Australia, thank you. We love you.
Whoever you are,
like we love you. No shame, but I don't know how you stumbled upon us, but I'm glad you did. And tell all your friends. But you know, it's an interesting thing that happens, you know, where you're like, wow, that, and then these people are starting to reach out because we had that person on who's in a different geographic area, and you start to have all of this. Yeah, it's really cool. And you were just telling a really badass woman story, you know, like that's what's cool about it is it's like we were just wanting to interview her because she was so it's cool.
I think you're so right too. There's just something interesting about, I guess, how women are taught to be entrepreneurs about that competition piece versus the collaboration piece. It's like, well, there can only be so many of us doing the same thing. So we have to, you know, be the best at it. And it's like, no, we all lift each other up. We all make sure we're supporting one another. That's why we loved your platform, is because is very similar to how we feel about our goal and our mission. It's just like, how do we help each other, lift each other up, and make each other more visible to others? You know, there's plenty of people for everybody to participate.
I agree. And like, I think like also like if you focus on too much what everybody else is doing, like you're kind of wasting time. Like some people are like, oh yeah, we have to look at our competitors. No, why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not really going to change anything. You'll still, because you two are two totally different people. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So yeah, like.
Yeah. Our competition were men, so we were like,
oh,
too many men have a microphone.
Have a podcast.
Let's let women have a voice.
It's not even talking about anything. They're not even talking about
That's true.
Yeah. No, and I think it goes against really feminine archetypes and energy, really, to be in competition. It's not. We are the foundations of communities. Without women, communities would fail immediately. And so to not have that communal energy towards building everything, right, and helping each other out seems to me like absolutely counterproductive.
Yeah.
As far as women supporting women, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think like, yeah, women have to support women. I think we have to support each other. And like, I just feel like for me, competition does not exist, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Because
the fight continues, girl. The fight continues.
Absolutely.
In a lot of places, right? Like even today, we've come a long way. But our last podcast, we talked about that. Like the fight is still continuing to maintain the rights we have and to fight for other rights, right? So it's not just because we have it doesn't mean it can't go away. And so coming together, we have so many, I think, boundaries, right? That
I think like now today, like women need each other now more than ever, especially since like they're trying to kind of take our rights away again. So like, you know, like I think we need to like stick together, you know. So like all the competition is just not necessary.
Not necessary, not needed, not helpful. You know. Where do you see your platform going? Like, what are some goals that you have for the business that you're like, this is my next step. This is where I want to be.
I think like a big goal for mine was to hit like 10,000 followers. I obviously want to work with more like bigger businesses and stuff like that. Like, I just want to touch as many business owners and women in power like as much as I can, you know, and you know, eventually, like, I probably won't be doing this like forever, but like that's like my main goal. Like, I just want to keep like empowering others, you know. Like I said, like it's really not about me, it's about you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about you, like it's about the women, you know, it's about all the amazing women doing amazing things in Columbus, and I just want to keep sharing them because like I said, there's truly nothing like in Columbus like it, you know, there's really nothing like it. So I just want to keep doing that. Like that's my main goal.
It feels so empowering. Like we feel so blessed to sit here and talk to women who are doing incredible things, whether it's nonprofit organizations, helping out their community, like the things that women are doing in our Columbus central location, not to mention everywhere else. I'm assuming this replicates everywhere, right? But that they're doing here is amazing. And to sit and listen to what people got inspired to do. And last week we interviewed a lady who's got a Cup of Purpose is what it's called. It is a rehab, like people that are in rehabilitation. It's a way for them to connect with their community and get resources and help and partnership with doing whatever they want to stay clean. And it's just really a cool, what a cool mission, you know, that somebody took on and is really passionate about what she's doing and helping people along the way. And there's really, really beautiful things that are happening at the helm of women. You know?
Absolutely, I agree. And like growing up with a bunch of sisters, like that's all we had, like no brothers and stuff like that. Like it was really like challenging growing up with a bunch of sisters. You know, my mom had to put in that strong black woman thing, and you know, like I learned like very early and shortly that you know women have to stick together because like that's really all we have. I mean, obviously we have the men, but like you know what I'm saying. And community.
Yeah. Do you want to speak on the strong black woman philosophy that your mom instilled.
Yeah, but I think like that's like a very toxic thing. Like you don't have to be strong all the time, especially like even if you're not like black, like being a mom in general, you don't have to be strong. Like you do have to take care of yourself. You can't wear a lot of hats like all the time. You know, like for example, my mom would like say yes even though she really didn't want to. Like she would like overextend herself, and I've learned a lot like growing up. You know, I think for me like I do have to like being an entrepreneur. Like you can't always. I noticed that I can't always spread myself thin. Like and being a black woman too. Like you do have to stick up for yourself. You know, like the world unfortunately wasn't really made for black women. You know what I'm saying? The world like in the being in America like we it wasn't really made like for us too. So like you do have to stick up for yourself, and you don't always have to be strong, but you do have to stick up for yourself. You know, put your foot down and stuff like that, and you do have to say no, and you have to say yes sometimes. You know, so I think that like the strong buck woman thing is a kind of like a toxic mentality too. It's like what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? I think all women should strive to live like a soft life, you know, because we are women. We're not men. You know, we don't even have the same like what is it hormonal cycle like so
like we're flowing with the moon, girl. We're flowing with the moon. You know what I mean?
I think like the strong black woman thing is like centered around men. Like oh we have to be tough like men and stuff, but reality we do not. Like you know I think like even black women too like we deserve a little bit more like of a softer life, you know, like a more feminine outlook on life, you know, like I don't think women in general, and especially black women, like we shouldn't be out here trying to be like men and trying to like take all the struggle and all the stress like men, because like women don't handle stress good, you know, and I think like the strong black woman mentality is like just negative to that. I think the strong black woman mentality is like, oh yeah, we're gonna handle everything that life throws to us. But
did your mom have a single mom growing up?
Yeah, so like my mom, like the story's kind of crazy. She didn't really know her father at all, and then like my grandma, she wasn't raised by her biological mom, so she was actually raised by an aunt that got married into the family. So she raised her, and then she passed away. And then when my mom got older, my mom started taking care of her biological mom.
Oh, wow.
So that's how life works. So my mom had her own share of struggles growing up, and God bless her heart. She had her own fair struggles, so like not having like a father figure, and I think that was like tough for me to watch because like not having a father figure and only being around women, that definitely does have some psychological effects. You know, you try to look for love like in the wrong places and stuff like that, and I think that's what was hard for me growing up. You know,
it also might be where she got the strong black woman.
Exactly,
like,
absolutely.
She was surrounded by women who had to do everything themselves.
Exactly,
right? She was surrounded by women who was wearing all those hats, and I think that was a back in the day, right? And I think it's shifting, but predominantly, like you know, there was a lot of women who were doing single mothership a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And that was hard. I think that was hard, and it's hard to put that down when you experience something different, right? And you don't want that for your girls. And now I've got 4 girls, and I want to be strong and not have to depend on a man. But at the same time, what you're saying is like, I think there's some room for some softness in there. Some both. I can be independent and want softness at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think like when I got older, like my mom definitely put it into perspective. Like for me, like, oh, please, like, don't do the same things that I did. Like, don't have a kid before you get married. Like, she definitely instilled like a lot of stuff in me that like she definitely made me the woman I am today. You know, what I learned most from her, like, you can learn from mistakes. You know, you can turn the bad into something great. You know, and she definitely taught me a lot, and she definitely like helped me understand like, oh yeah, like you said, you can be independent and still like desire to have like a soft life, you know, especially when you're want to be with like a male counterpart, you know, like you like all the stuff that we desire, like we're able to achieve that. And I think especially for Black women too in particular, a lot of them don't think they can. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we're trying to break the cycle of like, oh yeah, we've seen all of our moms handle all of it.
It's trauma. It's generational trauma. And it's like, Jesus, like how long does this happen? Yeah. It always reminds me of the phrase of just because we can doesn't mean we should, right?
Yeah.
Just because we can deal with everything and do this. Why should we though? Mm-hmm. You know, like where's the joy? Where's the experience of balance? Where's like living a life that's fulfilling for yourself just because you want to?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, I agree, you know. And like my mom just still to this day she's learning, even though like we basically like grew up together, you know, we're only 15 years apart. So we basically grew up together. I've learned a lot from her, and I even like now like I even tell her like now because you know it's hard to break that cycle. I even school her sometimes. I'm like, oh no, mom, like you should just let you know, like she'll go out on a date or whatever, and I'll be like, oh yeah, you should just don't call him, just let him call you or something like that. Like I'll even like scold her and stuff like that.
Like, don't catch mom. He should be chasing you.
Yeah. He should be chasing you and stuff like that. Or you know, like even like now, like for example, like a couple of years ago, like I'm not saying like the trash and mowing the lawn it has to be for men. Right. But I was just like, I don't really like watching my mom like mowing the lawn, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would be like, oh, like call one of your friends to come over and mow the lawn. Like even like stuff like that, because like I think my mom does these certain things or did these certain things because she had to do it. Yeah. But now that I'm older and I see these things and I try and like just help change like the mindset. Now that I'm older and can be able to like help her out and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, or we could just call a guy to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I said, like stress is the number one reason that women die. You know, like
it sounds like she's got a big job. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
And, like, how about having some downtime, Mom? Pay somebody to mow the grass.
Yeah.
We don't, and then you don't have to worry about it. And you can have some time to yourself. Outside of your big job.
Exactly. Yeah. So like it's just like stuff like that. You know, like you don't always have to get up and do it. And like even goes like with wealth. You know, like the wealthiest people like pay to get it done for them because time is money. Money is time. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like even like if you have some extra change line where I'm like, do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like time is money, and plus like all like that time you spent like mowing the lawn, you can be doing something else, like some stuff.
Unless you have some sort of wild obsession with mowing the grass. Then you go, girl, like mow the grass. If that's you're like, I can't wait to mow the grass. It is my like zen moment. I am meditating the whole time I'm mowing the lawn. Then you go, girl. But
and I'm clearly saying this because obviously like it was me and my mom and my siblings. Like I was out there mowing the lawn. Right. And I really don't think that women should be out there mowing the lawn.
Like, I didn't like it.
I don't think like you know like even like not saying like there's gender roles, but like there's just certain things like I think like as women like we just shouldn't like we shouldn't like
listen.
I think leaning into preferences, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to be to want a soft life and to want your man to be family and do those things.
Yeah.
I want chivalry. I want somebody to open the door. I want you to take care of me. I want to be lifting outside.
Yeah.
I want to call you if a jar's stuck and I want it open. I want somebody that
Yeah, and I think like today times are changing. Like I think even all women, not just Black women. I think women are seeing like, oh, we don't have to wear all the hats all the time. Like we don't have to like be like everything for everybody. You know, like we could let people help.
Well, we never really caught up from women starting to be in the workplace, right? So women, this was women's roles, and then we started to work. Yeah. So now we had to work full time and take care of the kids and take care of the house and the cleaning and the washing.
We never got to offload it.
Right. Like we're just starting to to catch up to the fact that that's not cool, and your
Yeah.
women are going to dump you if this continues.
Yeah.
And you don't take any of the mental load of the house because you can.
Yeah.
Right. And so if we're going to both work, this has to be a 50-50 stitch.
Yeah.
You know, like raising kids is no joke. It has to be 50-50. You can't be off with the boys all the time. And and then we both go to our 9 to 5s for 40 hours a week. Like, that's not fair. And not cool. Like, that's not my role. Women just aren't going to stand for that anymore. And so I think what you're seeing is a reckoning, right? A shift of like, they don't need you to stay in their relationships anymore. They can go get their job. So why would they stay in this relationship if it's not going to be 50-50? They're going to go find somebody else who will be 50-50 with them. And so I think we did see a huge rise in divorce rates and all those things. And I'm hoping to see that shift once we get back into more of a balance, if men start to understand that this is something we need to pay attention to, because we never really equaled it out originally, and now we're starting to. I think we're starting to hit some equilibrium in the consciousness of men to be like, oh wait.
Right, I agree. Like, I think that's why the divorce rates are high. I think women are like finally like, you know, not saying that we weren't sticking up for ourselves before, but I think women are like starting to like be more aware. Like, wow, like we don't have to wear all the hats. You know, we don't have to do this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I 100% agree.
What do you like to do for fun? Like, what's your joy in things? What just brings you so much happiness that you're like, this is a part of my life and part of my routine, or just something that makes me super happy?
Oh, it's definitely traveling, change of scenery. That's definitely my number one. Like, even if it's just like to Pennsylvania or like Chicago, like I do Chicago at least like once a year. It's definitely travel. I try to just go somewhere like on a little small outing at least once a month. I mean, call me crazy, but like at least once a month or like every other month, you know, like if I don't, I'm just like, I don't feel like myself, you guys. But it's definitely like travel, you know, like travel depression is kind of real for me. And like I just think like you need a change of scenery, you know, like going out in Columbus, like I'm seeing the same things all the time, you know, visiting different businesses and stuff like that, and traveling from point A to B. I see Columbus like a lot, you know, and it's mostly trees, open world, water, you know.
Wants to see it all.
That's what I'm saying. And I just think like, you know, travel is like my number one. Like, and if anybody wants to take that away from me, I'm like, no.
Are you a Sagittarius?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo. Same birthday as Michael Jackson.
So. Oh. No, that makes a lot of sense that you would need a change of scenery regularly. My husband's a Virgo and he needs that too. Yeah. But I'm a Sag, so I'm like, where are we going? When?
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
Yeah, well, I am a Virgo. So, yeah. I mean,
so you're sort of planning and organizing all of these events and, you know, interviewing businesses. Like, it's just, Yeah, I'm definitely, like, type A, you know? Like, I can be a little type B, but, like, when it comes to, like, work, it's definitely type A. It has to be, like, boom, 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 you know? Like, yeah. And I'll be honest, like, I don't work well if you're not a type A business owner. Like, I'm just like, oh, God, this person, I don't want to work with this person anymore or something like that. But
they've taken 3 days to respond to my email. There's no way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, like, oh yeah, they didn't even reply. They just left me on red or something like that. Oh no, they're not serious or whatever. But I do understand, like, people obviously like take their time. You know, some people aren't ready to jump ship. Whether as it's me, like I'm always ready to jump on board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because like you miss like 100% of the shots like you don't take.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'm always like open and ready.
Yeah.
Well, now you have a list of targets. What's your biggest hit, like, person on your business on your target list right now that we can give a shout out to?
That I really want to like work with. Honestly, like if I see them on Instagram, I'm like, oh, and they're woman owned. Like I'll literally send a DM. I'll send a message, and you know, like if they say no or something, or if they don't reply, like then it wasn't meant to be. You know, I kind of just go with the flow with that kind of thing, you know. So there's really like no one person I'm like, oh my God, I would love to work with them, but it's more so like I just give and take at the moment, you know.
Nice.
But that's like what I what I would do, like, it's a dream for me to work with all of these businesses, all of these businesses to do amazing things, and for me to like touch them in some type of way through like my video editing. Like if you to answer your question, like all of them.
Oh, I got it.
Work with all of them.
So have you been working with politicians too? Did I hear you say that you've worked with congresswomen and stuff?
Yeah, I worked with State Rep Munira. I think I'll have to look it up, but I think she's District 9. She's Muslim and she's Somali, and she does a lot of like community initiatives and work. There is not a lot of women of color in the politician world or anything like that. I worked with her, and we did something for her. She is also the director of Muslim American Society, and I worked with her to bring awareness to like the Muslim community and the Ramadan night market. Ramadan was last month, and it was 30 days, and they did like a big market on Morse, off of Morse in Cleveland. That's a big like intersection, so they did it right there. So I worked with her, and we asked her some questions about it and how she like even put it together and stuff like that. And we brought some like event awareness, like talking to some of the attendees and stuff like that. So we kind of like do that whole thing, like we bring awareness to all the girl bosses, no matter what they do, even if they have a business or not. Like if you're a woman in power, like you're still a girl boss. Like I don't think a girl boss is just limited to like because it's not. It's just a woman.
Inventors, people that are doing great work, doctors. Attorneys doing great work.
Absolutely. Like if you're like, I would love to work with like a doctor or something, or like a woman who owns like a trunky business, or a woman who like drives a truck, because you don't see that. Either. You know what I'm saying? Just women who are doing great things, and Comus, like we work with like all of them. So
So someone's listening right now. They're like, yes, this is something I want. Where can they reach out to you? Where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So obviously Instagram, girlboss.cbus, and our website, girlboss.cbus.com. So yeah, we're just a DM or an email away. We can get started. So whenever, like, I think people like sometimes make it more difficult than what it is. But I'm telling you, like, this is such a very easy process to like work with us. And we've literally filmed people anywhere and everywhere, like in their living rooms and basements, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's really not that complicated. Some people are like, "Oh, I don't really have a business that's easy to film." I'm like, "Oh,
we're filming you."
You're
the content. You're the content.
You're the content. I mean, like we, like if we're not able to, if they don't have a physical like brick and mortar, for the business, like we just add like photos in the video to serve representation. So like it's a pretty easy and simple process. Like it doesn't have to. It's never complicated to like get on board with us. So yeah.
Awesome. Are there any women you'd like to give a shout out that's influenced you over the years?
I like call me crazy, but like they've all influenced me. Anyone who has supported girlboss.cbus in any way, like shout out to you guys. Like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and girlboss.cbus wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for them. Like, oh my god. Okay, shout out to the 3 girls who came to the first event. Like believed in the vision. The first time, and shout out to like Jiva Met Spa for even like asking to do like a video, because that was like our first like video that we've done.
Set you down a whole other path.
That set us down a whole other path, because if it wasn't for them, it would literally just be events. But when I was like, oh, we could turn this into something else, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Phenomenal Women Inc. They're a nonprofit, and they were my first like collaborative event, like where I helped them and gathered, and I raised like about over $1,000 for their scholarship fund for them, so they can help send like money for a high school student to go to
towards their college.
College. So shout out to them. That was like my first like big event. And look, I remember when you said like, oh, like is there like a moment where you were like, oh, this is gonna work? That was when it worked. Because like helping out like a nonprofit and being able to give back to them, and help bring like more of awareness to them. Like that was amazing.
Yeah,
for
that's
me
cool.
to do.
There's always something about that moment where you get to help someone and like pay it forward that just feels like, isn't this what it's all about? Like, isn't this why I started doing this thing? And
Absolutely.
it's such a big step like that. So awesome.
Absolutely. And like one thing I do want to add, like I was never really in it for the money. I didn't really start seeing money from my content until like not money from I got money from like the events obviously, but money from content consistently wasn't even until like the end of like last year, you know? So like even if you're starting a business, like if you're in it for the money, you're not gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in it because you care and you're passionate. I think that's really what sets us apart. Like, you know, it's really not about the money, but that's why you don't see my face. It's not. It's about the women, you know. It's not. It's not about. Obviously, I should probably put my face. Like so, anyway, this is me, but I put my face on there a couple of times. Like, obviously, you have to scroll. You know what I'm saying? Right. But like,
well, now you can send this podcast to people and say what you want to know.
Absolutely, for sure. I'm grateful to be here to share a little bit more of my story. You know, like it wasn't all perfect. You know, ups and downs. You know, I've had my own struggles, but I think I've like my mom like did the best that she could. You know, like for example, like we've always like lived in like a home. Like I've never lived in an apartment or anything like that. You know, like it's like I had my own different struggles like in life, you know, like but I'm grateful for the experiences and all and the life that my mom gave to me, especially as a 16-year-old. Like and being a black woman too, like you don't hear that often. Like you hear like this like even though there's a lot of negative dynamics towards black women, you hear like you know, what is it, government assistance and Section 8 and stuff like that. Like you hear like a lot of negative perceptions, you know, but for me, like it wasn't like that for me, you know, like I had a lot of privileges, you know, like obviously we had our own struggles, you know. My mom was 16, single mom, like my dad was like in and out the picture, you know. Obviously that's not ideal. That's a struggle in itself, but like the way like life turned around for me, like that's a privilege for me. So
and a testament to you and your hard work too. So you know, make sure and give yourself flowers here. And you're doing incredible things for yourself and for other people, and you'll get that tenfold back to you.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming out here.
Thank you for coming.
No problem. Yes, all the way out in the middle of the field, Western Hills. So.
we're on a farm, y'all. We're on a farm.
I wouldn't have done it any other way. So, and I used to like be like, oh my god, I really want to be like. I used to like have this on like what is it, my vision board back then. I was like, oh, I want to be on a couple of podcasts. Like I said, I would get told no, and now like there's people asking me, oh, can you come on? You know, this is my second or third podcast this year. So it's like everything comes full circle.
Yeah, always.
Like I'd be like, oh, I really want to be on a podcast, but that was like my last business days, and now you know what I'm saying.
You're like, and here I am.
Yeah.
Everything in its own timing.
Absolutely, and it might not happen the at the time that you want it to happen, but it's gonna happen.
Well, thank you for all the work you're doing, and we wish you all the success in the world. We'd love to have you come back on when you hit 10,000 followers.
Yes.
Thank you so much, you guys. I wouldn't have wanted any other way to be. So, thank you so much.
This podcast will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, video and audio. And if you like this content, please make sure you're following us on social media.
Share it if it resonates, you guys. Or if you have any female entrepreneurs that might benefit from being in conversation with her.
Thanks, everyone. Love you.
Love you.